race coming up, and we have got the X Games gold medalist in this race, Mike Brown. For me, an absolute legend and a hero. Can't wait to see him battle against a rookie, believe it or not, Knighter.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe David Knight hasn't been around much in recent years here, and it's nice to have him back. There's a lot to be said about the competition between Knight and Patty Lazuziak dating back to 2007. There's David Knight on the 101 and Mike Brown right next to him. Mike Brown is a bad man. You talked about him. He is from Tennessee. The red dirt here, he says, is very similar to the red dirt compound back home in Tennessee, and we know he loves to race. That's his background.
Here we go for the second men's heat. Creeping. 6 laps are underway as we charge down the first corner. Mike Brown got a good run through there. He's got a clean run through there. Bit of action in the background. David Knight is chasing hard. He might have an inside line. No, he doesn't. Mike Brown, super cool. He leads immediately at this second heat. Looks like Knight is down to 4th position, but
that's Ricky Dietrich in the 2nd position. Now, he was your 2008 Enduro Cross champion, and he has gone and come back and gone and come back, and he says he wants to have a great run here, but he's been working construction as well, so not full-time racing as he was not long ago. But right now, you saw Mike Brown take a look back. Colton Haker,
Haker goes down. Knight goes through. Also, Carl Redmond goes through. There at the back, there is Brian Roper with his KTM as he slides into the rock for the first time, and he does a complete replication of what Lazuziak did earlier. Coming through on the inside, Dietrich having a great run, isn't he?
And Dietrich not wanting to take the risk on the inside. He could have tried to go to the inside to take the lead, but he played it smart, which shows you true professional, knowing what's going on all around him, not wanting to risk it. Redmond having problems coming together.
Dietrich off, I reckon.
Yep, and he's going to be able to join back in. There's no foul as long as you don't gain positions, and he was in that 2nd position there with Redmond, and he joined the track as we see David Knight moving up.
Absolutely. So then, Knight on 101 on the Honda. He's moved on. He's had BMWs underneath him. He's had the KTM underneath him, but now he's on the big 450 Honda for David Knight. The man from the Isle of Man. No, he talked about doing the TT on the Isle of Man, but that's a completely different kettle of fish if you're going to crack around 37.7 miles at an average speed of 131.5 mile an hour.
And it looks like David Knight was hung up on the uphill rock section, if I'm not mistaken. Haker also had a problem almost going over the bars as he heads into the downhill section. Another rider completely off.
Sutherland that was, who fell over to the right-hand side. So still leading is Mike Brown. He's got a near 10-second lead in this race. There he is, number 3, into the matrix. The 7 logs on a 5-degree incline. Then the big bit of lumber. He goes right over the last jump, and he is absolutely clear.
Mike Brown is amazing. Now, note, he's 40 years of age, won the X Games a year ago, and he is not showing any signs of slowing down. And when you talk to him, just such a composed, mellow guy, unassuming, doesn't give you that feeling like, hey, there's a super bad man behind this mask. He's just so put together.
That is the lead. There's Mike Brown on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And then there is Dietrich. Brown, 3 people stuck in the rocks there on the way up. They've been lapped.
And Brown made his way by like it was nothing. He just went right on by. Mike Brown not jumping into the water. And very, very cagey racer, very smart veteran. Obviously, Brown also now racing at the Baja 1000 series, so a different part of his career taking form. And look how slippery it is. He's basically flat tracking on the outside there.
It's looking like ice down there, isn't it? It's so slippery. The sunshine of this afternoon is not drying any of the moisture off as people are going down in the background. Brown still got a lead. It's a little bit less than it was a lap ago, as we're at the halfway point of this second heat. Well, the wily old fox is beating the rest of the field at the moment. Knight's not going to go through. Knight's not going to go through. He's in 7th at the moment, Cameron.
He would have to go to the LCQ, and I spent some time with Brownie earlier today, and we're talking about tires. I noticed his front tire was grooved for letting the knobs roll over, but the back wasn't, something I had seen in the past. And he showed me the new Dunlop tire and how soft the compound of the knobbies and the carcass are. He says it's like basically riding on a knobby trials tire. He says a lot of the riders have it now. And Dietrich off the side, but again, he can join back in as long as it's safe and he doesn't gain position, but he's been running in second virtually this entire heat.
So then, there goes David Knight on 101. In front of him, Kyle Redman. But David Knight is up to 6th position. Redman in that 5th place, so he'll get a guaranteed final slot if he can get ahead of Redman's KTM. Knight on the Honda. It's the first ride on this bike. He's struggling a little bit. He's had an injured hand. He was struggling after the practice sessions earlier this afternoon, and he had it all strapped up. It's not looking good for the big man from the Isle of Man.
And here is lap riders starting to become more and more of a factor. David Knight aboard the 101 trying to make his way through. You saw Kyle Redman get by. That's Redman on the 7th. And oh, look at this.
Several roadblocks just for a moment. David Knight's left at the end of the traffic jam as he makes his way through there. I remind you, Mike Brown still leads this heat. He is just starting his last lap.
Gary Sutherland, who we just saw, also the 324, he's riding that number in memory of one of his friends who passed away this year. He is in qualifying position, sitting in the 3rd position right now as Mike Brown gets over that double. And earlier in the day when it was dry, it was much easier for the riders to clear that, but now coming out of that sand pit, it is so slippery. Look how wet this is as we get a quick look at Wild Wally Palmer from New Jersey. He's the only rider riding a 2-wheel drive motorcycle.
That is, yeah, it's the Christini 2-wheel drive, bit of the power being transferred to the front wheel as the leader, Mike Brown, starts the last lap of this quarter-mile circuit. It's got a very clay feel to the earth underneath these guys, and that is what is making it so slippery. We might have got a blue groove if it was in the height of the day camp, but not at this time of night. It's getting a little bit cooler, and the water is still pouring out of these motorcycles, even though they've done it sort of 25, 30 seconds ago when they went through the water splash.
And this is a good look at Ricky Dietrich, the 539. Now, he's riding another rider's motorcycle. He's actually riding Kevin Rookstool's bike. And Rookstool not able to be here, and Dietrich now taking over on that motorcycle and looking solid. Cruising today, looking comfortable, long hair. You can see it sticking out of his helmet. Just really enjoying the atmosphere here in Brazil. And, oh, Dietrich is off once again on the side.
Losing his 2nd place, maybe. He's dropped off again. Well, construction work is certainly proving him for the good here tonight, because he was questioning his own fitness. But here he is in 2nd place. David Knight is up into 3rd as he jumps over and into the firewood pile. Meanwhile, here is Mike Brown, the X Games gold medalist from 2012 in LA. He has a guaranteed slot in the 10-lap final tonight. The wily old fox has trapped them.
Just a brilliant performance by Mike Brown. Here we see Ricky trying to get through that section, still in 2nd position. He's looking around. He's like, well, where is everybody? And actually, Ricky, you're just all by yourself for 2nd, but no problem. A great ride. He had a couple issues. We saw him go off the uphill rock section a couple of times, but he's into the main event. We know he's going to be excited about that.
Look at the relief as he flung his head back. And, yeah, all last-minute stuff, but it all works. Meanwhile, we have got Haker coming over. That's 4th position. And David Knight is ahead or behind. Let's have a look. Is he going to get inside the top 5 as we wait for him to cross the line? Yes, he is. That's 3rd position for David Knight. So he's through to the final. 56 seconds behind Mike Brown. That amazing
bombshell. But some of the things we got to take into consideration here is he knew he was in that qualifying position. No reason to push on the slippery track. The medals are going to be awarded in the main event. So they can allow that gap as long as they don't lose their position. So the smarter rider's not going to use energy, not going to take the risk of falling down. They're hurting themselves, not to mention he does have that hurt wrist. And Haker right now, sitting in that 5th spot, he is stuck in the matrix.
as he tries to get out. That's the hard bit done. So Redmond did get 4th position. He goes through, and there is Haker getting that 5th slot. Sutherland just outside the top 5. He's going to have to go to the LCQ.
And an interesting factoid with Colton Haker aboard that new Honda, actually. New to him, he has never made an X Games final. This is the 3rd year of the X Games Enduro X, and guess what? He's made it for the first time.
Ricky Dietrich on the 539. Happy as a Klamath high tide. Now let's have a look and see how they all wedged themselves through into that first corner as they were unleashed into the 150 yards down to the first left. It was tight. There was a bit of action on the outside.